If you're trying to eat in a way that nourishes your body and helps you achieve a weight loss and wellness goal, you've probably made some swaps to your meals. And maybe some of these swaps are great and supports your goals, but honestly, a lot of these supposedly healthy swaps are actually not really supportive of a weight loss or wellness goal and could actually be reversing your progress. So today I'm sharing the 10 healthy food products that you might be eating and swaps that are actually much better for you instead. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's in nutrition human performance, and today's video is sponsored by Thrive Market. More on them in a bit. Okay, the first option is low carb bread. Now you might have made the swap to low carb bread because you're trying to control for blood sugar levels, maybe trying to make sure that you're not getting a lot of excess refined carbohydrates in your diet, which is great. But just because a low carb bread is low carb, it doesn't actually mean it's going to be supportive of weight loss or wellness goals. And that's because a lot of these low carb breads don't actually have really great ingredients. This can be a problem for a lot of people who are sensitive to gluten and could cause GI distress or other issues. Instead, if you're looking for a low carb option, I typically recommend going for ones that are made with more whole food, nutrient dense ingredients so that you're at least getting some nutritional value out of the food that you're eating. My favorites include base culture, which is made with ingredients like almond butter, nuts, seeds, and eggs. Egg wraps can be a good option, which is pretty much just made out of egg whites, so it's obviously very high in protein. Cauliflower wraps are great, but you need to watch out for different brands because you can also get a little tricky with this. The brand I really like is called Outer Isle. It's just made with Parmesan cheese, eggs, and cauliflower, so it'll also be high in protein. Coconut wraps are great, and then jicama wraps are fantastic as well if you want something lighter and crunchy. This typically works if you're making tacos. Okay, the second is whole wheat bread. Now, if you are okay with having wheat and if you aren't very carb sensitive, maybe you're looking to opt for a better bread option, so you go for whole wheat bread. Now, typical whole wheat bread from the grocery store is going to have a lot of additives, but even more importantly, it's probably not actually been properly fermented, which is why those additives need to be added in. When wheat isn't properly slowly fermented, it doesn't allow the body to actually gain access to the nutrients within the wheat. And this might not seem like a very big deal, but these are pretty major nutrients like various B vitamins, and B vitamins are needed to create energy within the body. Not to mention, this typical whole wheat type of bread is also going to still be really high glycemic load, especially eaten in the quantities that we typically would eat it. High glycemic load foods cause a really big spike and fall in blood sugar levels, which can spike hunger and cravings and ultimately work against a weight loss or wellness goal. Instead, if you do choose to have a wheat-based bread, what you want to look for ideally is going to be either sprouted and or properly fermented bread. When wheat is actually sprouted and or fermented, it actually unlocks those nutrients, so we're able to get those various B vitamins from that food, make it more nourishing. It also makes it more digestible and lowers the overall gluten content, and it tends to lower the glycemic load, making it more friendly from a blood sugar perspective. You usually won't find these in just the regular grocery aisle. You're probably going to find this in the freezer aisle because they do go bad more quickly if they aren't kept in the freezer, but the brand Ezekiel bread tends to have better, more sprouted or naturally fermented breads. Or you could always make your own as well and make sure that it's properly fermented. Okay, the third food is whole wheat pasta. Now, even though it's whole wheat, it still has the issue of being really high glycemic load, so it's not going to be helpful from a weight loss or blood sugar perspective. A normal 2-ounce serving is going to have a glycemic load of about 14.4, making it medium glycemic load, but if you're accounting for how much pasta most people actually eat, it's going to have a glycemic load closer to 28.8, which is a very high glycemic load food. So it means you get that big spike and fall in blood sugar levels, increased hunger, increased cravings, and of course just unstable blood sugar levels. Instead, if you do want pasta and you want it to be more similar to real pasta, then I would check out red lentil pasta instead. Red lentil pasta for a normal serving size has a glycemic load of 5.94, which is considered a low glycemic load. And even if you account for what people typically eat, so double that amount, its glycemic load is only 11.88, making it more of a medium glycemic load food. So it's going to be better for blood sugar and cause less of those spikes and falls. And a lot of these better food options can actually be found with today's sponsor, Thrive Market. Thrive Market is an awesome online membership-based grocery store, and they're on a mission to make healthy living as easy and accessible and affordable as possible. Plus, it's delivered directly to your door, just making all of our lives so much easier. I'm a new mom and I don't necessarily always have the time to go to the grocery store, so using Thrive Market has really made my life so much more simple. Plus, you can save on every order on high quality brands like the base culture bread on Thrive Market's website and on its app. And if you happen to find the price lower someplace else, Thrive Market will match the price, which always guarantees you the lowest price. And orders over $49 have free shipping. One of my favorite things about Thrive Market is that they have filters to help you discover different brands that fit your dietary preferences or needs. So you can scroll down and click these little buttons if you're plant-based or you're keto or you're gluten-free or you're opting for grass-fed, so you can make sure you're choosing brands that fit your needs. And you have access to foods that you might not be able to find at your local grocery store, all while saving money in the process. Many of the items I'm sharing today can be found on Thrive Market to make getting high quality, healthier swaps for your goals super easy. And right now you can join Thrive Market to get get 30% off your first order plus a free gift valued up to $60. So head over to thrivemarket.com/autumnbates for 30% off your first order. I'll also have the link down description below so you don't miss out. Okay, the fourth food is low-fat yogurt. Now, low-fat yogurt was previously recommended and still really kind of recommended to this day because it is going to be lower in overall calories and it's going to be lower in saturated fat. But it turns out that the full-fat variety of yogurt not only obviously tastes so much better, but it's also just a better option for us overall. Low-fat yogurts tend to be loaded with sugar to actually make it palatable, which obviously is not supportive of weight loss or wellness goals. And full-fat yogurt has actually been found in numerous studies to be inversely associated with obesity. This means that it's actually protective against weight gain. This is likely because full-fat yogurt has both fat and protein, which activates all of our satiety hormones, making us full and satisfied for even longer and preventing hunger for even longer. And even though full-fat dairy products are going to be higher in saturated fat, studies have found that full-fat yogurt is actually inversely associated with cardiovascular disease, again meaning that it's likely protective. Full-fat yogurt is also going to have a lot more of a very important vitamin called vitamin K2 than the low-fat variety, and vitamin K2 is needed to get calcium out of the arteries and into your bones, making it super important for both bone and heart health. Okay, the fifth food is egg whites. Now, egg whites were recommended for a long time because it is going to be high in protein, lower in calories, and lower in cholesterol. But research has actually shown that the cholesterol we eat, like the cholesterol in eggs, actually doesn't really have an impact on the cholesterol in our blood. And the impact that it does have tends to be positive. It tends to raise the good HDL cholesterol while improving the LDL cholesterol. Egg whites, on the other hand, are really nutrient poor compared to whole eggs. That's because pretty much all of the powerhouse nutrient value is in the egg yolk, not in the egg white. Whole eggs have also been found to be more satiating than other healthy breakfast food items like oatmeal, and because of that, it's been found to prevent hunger for a longer amount of time than other foods, making it much more supportive of a weight loss goal as well. Now, I get my eggs from my backyard chickens, but ideally you want to opt for organic, preferably pasture-raised eggs. Those are going to typically be the most nutrient dense and going to be best for overall soil health as well, but whatever eggs fits your budget is going to be great as well. Okay, the sixth food is diet soda. Now, even though diet soda is usually zero sugar and typically 0 calories, it's not necessarily great for weight loss or wellness goals. Some studies even show that diet soda is linked to obesity, and this could be because diet soda is so sweet that it causes us to crave more sweet food that then works against our goals. But it is important to note that there are studies that show diet soda could potentially help with weight loss, although these studies are typically funded by those who create the diet soda, so there's that. Either way, the other ingredients in most diet sodas are questionable at best, aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin being the most common offenders. Specifically, those ingredients have been found to disrupt the gut microbiome and could even lead to an imbalance in blood sugar levels. Now, obviously, as a nutritionist, I would much rather prefer that you stick to water, coffee, tea, maybe some sparkling water, but if on the occasion you do want some type of soda that's going to be better serving of your goals, some better options I found include Poppy, which is made with stevia and apple cider vinegar, and apple cider vinegar has been found to be helpful for blood sugar balance. Now, it isn't sugar-free, but it is very low in sugar compared to traditional sodas. It also has prebiotics for gut health, making it just a better option than the typical diet sodas that could be worsening gut health. Another one I found is Olipop. Now, this is also made with prebiotics for gut health, and it includes botanicals that are also specifically designed for gut health. And most of the carbs you'll see on this soda are actually from fibers for the prebiotic benefit, so they don't actually have an impact on the blood sugar level. Now, another option that isn't necessarily soda, but like a can, is Spindrift. That's my personal favorite if I'm going to have something in a can. It's literally just sparkling water with a tiny splash of fruit juice. Now, there are a lot of other healthy soda brands on the market, but I would still recommend limiting these, not having them on a daily basis, because it could potentially cause you to crave more and more sugar. But I might do blog posts on all the different options in the future, so let me know in the comments down below if you want a full blog post on these different soda options. Okay, the seventh is probiotic capsules. There's definitely a time and a place for probiotics. I personally did take them toward the end of my pregnancy, and it was a specific strain to make sure I didn't have a specific type of bacterial infection during labor. But if you're taking probiotics because you think you have to for general health, there's actually a much better and much less expensive option. You can instead just start to fill your plate and fill your meals with naturally fermented foods that are going to be bursting with different types of bacteria that are good for the gut. This tends to be cheaper, more nutrient dense, and provide both prebiotics and probiotics all in one package. Plus, naturally fermented foods helps to unlock nutrients in foods that you might not otherwise be able to get. For example, fermented dairy products like yogurt breaks down lactose so that those who are lactose intolerant can generally have yogurt. Some of my favorite naturally fermented foods include kimchi, sauerkraut, and various yogurts. And you can actually easily make your own Greek yogurt at home. I love doing this. It's so fun and simple. If you want that recipe, I'll have it linked right up here. Okay, the eighth is low or zero sugar artificial sweeteners, especially those that you use use in your coffee. Think back to that same diet soda concern. The most common ones you'll see of this are going to be like NutraSweet, Equal, and Splenda. Those are those little like sugar packets you find pretty much everywhere. Now, to avoid the potential gut disruption as well as potential blood sugar dysregulation that can result from these artificial sweeteners, if you're going to use some type of sweetener in your coffee, I usually recommend opting for a naturally zero sugar alternative. My favorites are going to be monk fruit and stevia. My personal favorite is monk fruit. That's what I use in my zero sugar protein powder. It actually tastes the best in my opinion, and it's naturally zero sugar, but you can also use stevia as well. Both have little packet options you can use and put in your coffee if you find that you do need a little sweetness. Although again, for best long-term results, I still recommend trying to aim for not having any sweetener in your coffee. That way it can help to reduce your sugar cravings in general. Okay, the ninth is plant-based protein powder. Now, I used to use plant-based protein powder as well. I thought it was a better option than like whey or egg proteins because I thought those other options would cause acne. But then I learned about the DIAZ score, which is a measurement of protein quality. And I found out that pretty much all plant-based proteins are very low DIAZ, meaning that they're very poorly absorbed. Plus, I noticed for myself as well as a lot of my clients that the plant-based proteins were causing a lot of gut issues, bloating, gas, diarrhea, constipation. And as soon as they took it out, again, myself included, did not experience those same issues. I also found out that when I used a high quality whey protein 100% isolate option, that I didn't experience the acne that everybody said I would. And that's because whey protein isolate is the lowest lactose form of whey. So for myself, even though I'm a little bit lactose intolerant, I was able to still have it and not see those negative side effects. Now, obviously I'm biased. I did end up creating my own zero sugar protein powder with a 100% whey protein isolate because I've just found it to be the best option. It mixes the best into various recipes. I found it tastes the best in recipes, and it's been studied for a very long time as a really high quality protein, which if you want to check out my protein powder, I will have it linked down in the description below, as well as pop up right here somewhere. But egg protein powder is also a good option if you are allergic to dairy. It's still going to be a high DIAZ protein. It just tends to not mix as well into recipes. When you blend it into smoothies, it tends to make like a meringue explosion, but egg protein still is a good option. As for plant-based protein powders, if you are 100% plant-based, then ideally you at least want to look for ones that have a variety of different sources of proteins in there. So like from different plant-based sources. That way you're maximizing the DIAZ potential of it, so how well the protein is actually absorbed. I would also recommend looking for sprouted proteins. So it'll say in the ingredients it's from like sprouted mung bean powder, sprouted lentils, whatever it is, because these will also tend to be more digestible and cause less gut distress. Okay, the 10th healthy food is ground turkey. Now, ground turkey and ground chicken for that matter really got popular when ground beef fell out of favor due to heart health and saturated fat concerns. But a lot of recent research has found that saturated fat on its own isn't actually the big scary heart disease monster that we thought it was. Plus, ground beef is much higher in really important nutrients like zinc, iron, and vitamin B12. In fact, ground beef has literally double the amount of iron compared to ground turkey. And particularly for women, iron is really important. Now, if you are still concerned about the saturated fat or overall fat content in general, then you could opt for grass-fed beef. Grass-fed beef tends to be lower in fat in general and therefore lower in saturated fat and have more omega-3 fatty acids, which is the heart-healthy omega-3 fat. Grass-fed beef also tends to be higher in vitamin A and vitamin E than the non-grass-fed variety. Now, turkey isn't necessarily bad, but if I had the option to only choose one for the rest of my life, I would 100% go to ground beef. Although a mix of both is also totally fine. Now, most of the things I mentioned in today's video can be found on Thrive Market and delivered directly to your door. So if you want to take advantage of that 30% discount on your first order, plus that free gift valued up to $60, make sure you head over to thrivemarket.com/autumnbates, or you can click on the link in the description down below to make sure you don't miss out on that discount. Now, if you want to check out what I eat in a day as a nutritionist using a lot of these foods, you can find that video right here. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.